All right, so this is our thoughts and reviews on AEW Rampage, February 11th, 2022. So we go to show starts and they're already in the ring. They already posted it like the entrances on Twitter, which I watched, and they were fun. So this is Roppongi Vice versus the Young Bucks as the opener. It was the first tag match for Roppongi Vice in 3 years. And if you didn't see Roppongi Vice versus Young Bucks like the first or like at New Japan, right?
I have not.
That was that was like definitely one of the best tag matches I've seen. I think that was in like 2017. Roppongi Vice did win. I remember at the time I wanted Young Bucks to win, and I was like very salty that they lost. And then here I wanted Roppongi Vice to win, and then Young Bucks won. So it's like
Mm.
such a vice versa flip. But here, what I wrote in my notes starts off the it's Nick Jackson, Rocky Romero trade some shots. They end up throwing Nick out of the ring, and then Rocky does a Hurricanrana off the steps, which I thought was pretty nice. Then you have Nick and Matt tag back in or tag each other in. They keep double teaming on Roppongi Vice, and Roppongi Vice end up countering one of the double team moves, and then they do their high five spot where like Trent has his arm all the way up high, and then Rocky has to jump to high five that. And then this was I thought was kind of made Roppongi Vice look kind of dumb. They're up at the top of the ramp because the Bucks just walk away and then they chase them just to be super kicked at the top of the ramp, and then the Bucks run back into the ring, and then Rocky Romero almost gets counted out and he jumps back into the ring at 9. I was like, wow, they made Roppongi Vice look like idiots,
Mm.
but whatever. So they come back in ring at 9. More double team moves to take out Romero and Trent. Nick springboards moonsaults onto Roppongi Vice. Orange Cassidy goes under the ring, and then the Young Bucks pull out Danhausen, and then you have his very nice, very evil versus onto the Young Bucks. I forgot what Danhausen tweeted, but that was very amusing. And then Danhausen just walks away as Roppongi Vice do like a double tope on them. And then you go into commercial break, and then I don't really watch the picture in picture that much, but
Yeah, I
I
zoned out.
think Young Bucks ended up getting the heat back onto Roppongi Vice. So then you have Matt mocking Rocky Romero, and he's standing on the outside. He's just like, Rocky, tag me. And then it's like, I don't know, why are you doing that? Like, I think that's just so fucking stupid. But he does it anyway. And then they do more mocking with the hug, and Rocky ends up wiping both of them out. He does a hot tag on Trent. Trent runs wild, goes for a really nice tornado DDT, I think, on Nick Jackson, or I don't know, one of the Bucks, whatever.
They look the same.
And yeah, no, they're brothers. They look the same. So they end up going outside. This is also a fun spot. They had Trent has Nick up on the electric chair, and then Rocky knees him off, almost like a modified doomsday device, essentially. And then like a Nick flip onto the floor. That was
Mm.
a nasty flip. So they trade more near falls. Nick got like a cool double team move off. Trent tags in, and then he starts training German suplexes with Nick. And then their spot there was Roppongi Vice hit a double German, and then Young Bucks hit a double super kick, and then Roppongi Vice just clothesline them, and then everyone's dead off ground now. Like no one's moving. I forgot who got back up. So here's where like this was around the finish of the match where it got like really really intense. You have Rocky and Matt start trading shots. Young Bucks go for the Melter driver. Rocky counters into a pin. It's a close near fall. Matt goes for more bang for your buck. Trent blind tags in, jumps on top rope and hits a big German on Matt, and Matt lands on his front. Trent then hits strong zero. Nick breaks up the pin by throwing Rocky Romero onto him. Roppongi Vice go for the Doomsday device, but I think it's Nick lands on his feet. And they super kick Trent, and then they hit Rocky Romero with a Meltzer driver. And then Trent breaks up the Meltzer driver, and then they just double super kick Trent out of the ring. And then they hit the BT trigger on Rocky Romero. Bucks win around 13 minutes. Really good opener.
Yeah, I thought it was a great opener. It was a bit spotty, I'd say at times. Definitely like
Yeah.
Roppongi Vice running into the super kicks. A lot of the mocking by the Young Bucks, like that fake tag and the hugging. It was just like, all right, I get it. Go on, because they had like so much chemistry together, and both teams are really just like fluid in the ring. And overall, I'd say it was a great opener, just a little too spotty. I don't know what the. I know Danhausen's a bit injured at the moment to do too much. Hopefully, we get to see him do a bit more than just the curse. But yeah, overall, I think it was a really solid opener. And honestly, I think it was match of the night.
Well, I mean, the other two were squash matches, and then you had Jurassic Express and Austin Gunn, or and the Gun Club,
The Ass
but
Boys.
the Ass Boys. Yep. I thought it was a good opener. Yeah, you're right. It was a little bit too spotty, but I think that's what you expect out of Young Bucks matches now is that they're always gonna just gonna be a bunch of high spots. After the match, I wrote Cutler sprays Orange Cassidy with the orange punch, and then Jay White comes out and then hits Trent with the Blade Run, which is just Sister Abigail for WWE fans. But and that's gonna set up a match. I forgot they said it's if it's on Rampage or on Dynamite, but it's definitely gonna be Wednesday either way. You can see Jay White versus Trent Beretta. Jay White should win.
I'm looking forward
Like,
to that, and yeah, I'm expecting Jay White to win.
I do think the matches in New Japan were a lot better, but like they did get more time, like a lot more time in New Japan, and this was like on free TV.
Yeah,
So then they did an announcement: Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs to qualify for the ladder match. I think Dante should win, just so they can get high spots for Dante Martin off a ladder. I think that's the only reason why he should win.
yeah, it'd be super fun to see Dante
And then
doing whatever crazy
yeah,
spots they could think. Because right
yeah,
now he's like the one of the best at doing the high spots.
yeah. You already have Keith Lee in the match, and then Powerhouse Hobbs is basically almost like a Keith Lee, so you don't need two.
Yeah, I don't think like an all Haas ladder match would be too
Yeah.
entertaining, but who knows?
All right, so next up we have Britt Baker versus Robin Renegade. No Jamie Hayter for Britt Baker's entrance. And then I also put as a fun fact, Robin Renegade is actually dating Alan Five Angels. If people didn't know that.
Huh?
So this was just like a glorified squash match. They lock up and they trade headlocks, then they trade wrestling holds and pins. And it's mostly Britt Baker just pinning Robin. Robin goes for knees and corner and misses. Baker takes control, and then they just get heat on Robin. I put match was boring, and then during the picture in picture, I said I paid more attention to the State Farm commercial that was to my left than the actual wrestling match that was happening to my right. I was so bored. It was just heat, heat, heat on Robin. And then I was after the commercial break, it's a little bit more heat. Finally, Robin hits a drop kick and then actually hits the knees in the corner this time, goes for a top rope for a frog splash and gets a close near fall. Then Brent taunts Robin, hits a ripcord punch, and then hits I said Matt Seidel's finisher. Matt Seidel calls it the lightning spiral. I don't know what they called it on broadcast, but she hits that and then hits like a big curb stomp, and then she wins. It was a 7 to 8 minute match. It was just getting heat on Robin for 6 to 7 minutes, and it was boring and unnecessary. But like, it was just to set up the angle right after where Robin's bleeding from her mouth and then Baker's applying the lockjaw on her, and then Thunder Rosa comes, makes the save, and starts teeing off on Britt Baker. And then Hayter runs out, tosses Rosa aside, and starts beating her up. Then Mercedes Martinez comes out, throws Hayter aside, and starts beating Thunder Rosa up. And then Hayter pushes Mercedes Martinez. They start arguing, and then Baker has to like mediate between them both. It was just setting up that angle, but like the match was boring. It was just a glorified squash. It was all about heat.
Yeah, the aftermatch stuff was the only stuff of interest. I really zoned out during this match. I mean, I understand that they basically have like a quota to have like one women's match per show, but if you're really going for like these type of level of matches. I mean, we already know how great Britt Baker is. I don't think she really needs to have like these type of squash matches on TV. I felt like could have been shown for someone else, but the aftermatch stuff was pretty interesting. Happy to see that the continuing feud between Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa, and really happy just to see the heat and the friction between Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, and just seeing where that goes.
Yeah, that's definitely the story. Like it's the match itself was never the story. The story was setting up Thunder Rosa and what's going to happen between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. All right, so next I have Hook versus Blake Lee. Hook comes out, he's so over. Like the crowd loves him. Like they just want to cheer him. He's just so over. So I didn't really take that much notes. I just wanted to enjoy this Hook match. I'm pretty sure it didn't go that long. That was what I thought, and I decided to time it on a stopwatch. 2 minutes, 50 seconds was this match. Only thing of note, it was basically Hook teeing off all over Blake Lee. QT distracts Hook for a bit, gives Blake Lee some space. He goes for a crossbody, and then Hook just wasn't even like remotely close, and it just looked like the biggest flop ever of a crossbody. It was so funny. I actually laughed out loud. Like when there was no one there for that crossbody, and then Hook hits the rear naked choke, and Lee taps out. It was easy. Just
Yeah,
what it should have been. Just boom in there, out within 3 minutes. Don't even celebrate. Yep, that's how you got. He's over. That was really good.
yeah, this is how more squash matches need to be. And yeah, I mean, everyone loves Hook. You can't really describe it. It's just the mock. I guess if you could try to, it would just be the moxie of him, the attitude, and I some people may say like, oh, what about like the students or whatever. I mean, it's the QT's student. No one cares about QT. Everyone wants Hook, and that's what they got. He's doing some pretty good stuff in the ring. I have to admit. I mean, besides the tribute to his father, Taz, with the Taz mission and the suplexes, I was really impressed when they were going for the hip toss, and then Hook just lands on his feet. That was incredible to see. But yeah, overall, Hook is just killing it on AEW.
All right, so here, the main event. Here's the promo for the main event, which I just wrote one thing of note. It was so funny. It was Jungle Boy said, "An undefeated streak is always super impressive, but Gun Club, yours isn't that." And I just laughed so hard. He just flamed their undefeated streak. Because it's true, their undefeated streak didn't mean shit.
It
Like they just
didn't.
beat up a bunch of jobbers on Dark and Dark Elevation. It
It
didn't
was
mean
like
anything.
all dark
It was
matches.
yeah, it was so true that this was their undefeated streak didn't mean anything. So they tried to get an Ass Boys chant. Couldn't really hear it from the Gun Club music. It was too loud, so they weren't loud enough. And then it always amuses me how much Chris Jericho hates how the crowd is out of sync in Jungle Boy's theme music. He's just like, why can't they sync up? And then this is when it hit me that Marco's stunt completely got replaced by Christian Cage.
Oh, this is when you realized that? I kind of noticed it a while ago when we weren't
Well, I
seeing
thought
him.
Marco's stunt was just injured, but then I realized he's not actually injured, is he?
No, his contract expired. So, yeah, we're not going to see him again.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. So it starts off with chain wrestling. Jungle Boy actually slipped off the top rope, but he caught himself and then did his little flip in to try to turn the guy, but Colton doesn't let it happen. And then he hits a very big lariat on Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy sold it like he just got decapitated. He did a backflip off, off that Colton gun lariat. So then you have the Gun Club just get heat on Jungle Boy during the entire commercial break, and they kept the heat on him for about 6 minutes of the match. Jungle Boy tries to make a hot tag, but they tag out. But they take out Luchasaurus before they can make the tag. And then Colton this time is smart because before he punched Jungle Boy, Jungle Boy bounces off the ropes and then hits a big lariat on Colton. This time, Colton punches Jungle Boy. He tries to do the same thing, but he avoids the lariat, and they move a little bit more, and then Jungle Boy gets the hot tag. Luchasaurus goes wild. Jungle Boy hits a somersault on the outside on both guns. Jungle Boy goes for a tope, but Austin moves out of the way, and then he hits Luchasaurus instead, which I thought was a very nice spot. Uh, Colton pins Jungle Boy, and he has both feet on the rope, and Christian Cage pushes the feet off, and then I was surprised that Aubrey didn't do anything about it. I guess maybe she realized, oh, they were cheating or something, and then like he caught the person cheating, but like that looked a little bit weird for me. Colton ends up hitting Jungle Boy in the head with a title, and Jungle Boy still kicks out. So I don't know. I guess getting hit in the head with a title doesn't really mean much anymore.
Guess not.
Uh, Luchasaurus choke slams Colton Gunn onto some fans, which is in quotations, out on ringside, and Christian Cage spears Papa Gunn, and then Jungle Boy hits a kill switch on Austin Gunn for the win. It's a 14 minute match around. So it was decent. It was an all right tag match.
Yeah, honestly, I was a bit bored with it. I don't find Gun Club interesting at all. Just their
Yeah.
gimmick of being the sons of Billy Gunn. I was never really a big Billy Gunn guy. And I mean, in the beginning of the match, Jungle Boy was taking out both of the S Boys. So I was kind of thinking to myself, well, if Jungle Boy could do this by himself, I think he has this pretty wrapped up. And I mean, they tried to make it interesting a bit with getting more people involved. And I mean, yeah, obviously Gun Club did have their comeback part way through the match. But yeah, as you were mentioning, it got kind of messy with like Christian Cage getting involved, Billy Gunn getting involved, and it kind of just got all over the place with like Jungle Boy no selling the hit to the head with the belt. So yeah,
It's like
overall,
I think with it is like you have to try to make it believe like the challengers have a chance, and it's like if I told you Jurassic Express versus Gun Club for the tag titles, who wins? Like, are you ever gonna say Gun Club?
no,
Yeah, that's the I think that was the idea. Is they hit him with the title. It's just like, wait, are they actually gonna have Gun Club win? But then like you see Jungle Boy kick out, and you're just like, oh, he kicked out. But like when I see that, I'm just like, man, I mean, everyone knows that Gun Club isn't gonna win. Just don't do that. You're gonna make getting hit in the head with a title like meaningless to me.
just don't bring Gun Club into the main event.
So overall, it was an all right show. I mean, very basic Rampage.
Yeah, very
Not nothing too
basic.
special.
Uh, I
It's
enjoyed the
fun.
opener match of the night. Got a couple of squash matches and main event. We could tell what they were trying to do, but honestly, I think just didn't really work for me.
Yeah. So. Young Bucks versus Roppongi Vice best match. It was the opener too. Main event, I knew Gun Club was never gonna win, so it's hard to get myself as invested in it. But I mean, they did pretty well. So yeah, it was overall a decent Rampage. It wasn't anything too spectacular. It wasn't anything too bad. It was just it was there. Like I got some good wrestling action out of it. It was a
Yeah,
solid hour.
yeah,
It did its job.
nothing really like bad, I'd say.
Yeah. So I guess that's the review for Rampage, February 11th.
Tune in next week as we review next week's episode.
Yep.
We gotta keep them on our toes. Make sure the
All right.
fans know what we're up to. We might trick them and review something else, but we're not.